So thank you very much indeed, ladies and gentlemen. We're back from yesterday. I only managed to do 2 videos yesterday. I want to carry on with this series of walking up the south bank of the River Thames, and only got as far as 2 videos, so I'm going to start again. Yesterday was Saturday, that means today is Sunday. It's Sunday the 26th of October. It's not warm and the sky is cloudy, but you'll see in the background the London Eye. What I want to do is just continue my walk from more or less from where I left off, so I will go ahead and I will just switch the video round so that you can see where I'm going and what's going on. Right, now it's Sunday, so it's perhaps not quite as busy today as it was yesterday, but there are still performances. This area here is a performance space where people, I suppose, can just get up and spontaneously perform in front of other people. We've seen this before. If you want fish and chips is over on the right hand side, and then there is this carousel. But what I'm going to do is move on from here and just make my way underneath the arches of Charing Cross rail bridge. And beside Charing Cross rail bridges you have two walkways on either side. These were set up in the year 2002 in honour of the Queen's Golden Jubilee. That's 50 years on the throne, and you can see they extend on either side of the bridge, and you can walk over them and you get excellent views. On this side you get excellent views of the city of Westminster, and on the other side you get excellent views of the city of London. So let's just carry on. Now, when we get away from that racket, we're going underneath Charing Cross rail bridge. I'm not entirely clear what these wooden huts are on either side. They're shut up at the moment, so I presume they open possibly in the summer, but certainly or when it's warmer, but evidently not today. Right, so there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This again is the Queen Elizabeth Golden Jubilee bridges. And going further forward, over on the left hand side across the water, across the River Thames, on the opposite bank, you may be able to mark out the site of the Cleopatra's Needle, which has got nothing to do with Cleopatra, and it's pretty useless as a needle. It's an Egyptian obelisk carved in 1485 BC, therefore it is the oldest artifact in the whole of Greater London. It was created for the pharaoh Tutmosis III, and it stood in the sands of Egypt for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. I think it was taken off, yes, it was taken off to Alexandria by the Romans, and it stood there for hundreds and hundreds of years, and then eventually it was given to the British nation by the Viceroy of Egypt in gratitude for the victory of Admiral Lord Nelson at the Battle of Trafalgar. That was in 1797, and so the British went in and eventually claimed it and brought it back all the way to London. It's been standing here ever since. But there it is, ladies and gentlemen, that's Cleopatra's Needle. There's another one like it in Central Park in Manhattan. And just behind Cleopatra's Needle, another large building called Shellmex, which has got this clock. And that clock is actually larger than the clock on the clock tower of the Houses of Parliament. And because it's associated with petroleum, it's called Big Benzene. Well, it's supposed to be amusing, I suppose. Maybe it doesn't amuse everyone, but anyway, there we are. Right, now then, whereas over here, ladies and gentlemen, we have, over on my right-hand side, now this here is the Royal Festival Hall, which is all that now remains of the Festival of Britain of 1951. Very much the architecture of the early 50s, with these the concrete and these large open windows. It's a concert hall. It's one of the great concert halls of the world, and it's here that we've had performances from the Beatles, from Elton John, artists like Frank Sinatra, the Pink Floyd, David Bowie, Nina Simone, Ella Fitzgerald, Led Zeppelin, Bob Dylan, the Rolling Stones, Jimi Hendrix, Louis Armstrong, Joan Baez, Luciano Pavarotti, and Bruce Springsteen. Right, so that's a Royal Festival Hall with a capacity of 2,700. So in addition to being a concert hall, you can go in there and you can get tea, coffee. There's a Foyle's bookshop there. It's quite an interesting place just to wander about, but we're not going to stay there very long. We're just going to make our way down. Oh, just something else to show you. Down here, you'll see they've got poetry in the pavement. It's been so badly mauled about I can't read it. First at the dawn of the lingering day, it rises an ashy grey, then deepening with a sordid stain, the yellow something of a lion's mane. From A London Fog, 1822. Okay, right, now then we'll move on. So just to give you an idea of what it's like being in London and walking along the south bank of the River Thames. This is a leisure area. It's been a leisure area really since the time of the Festival of Britain. Oh, there's another piece of poetry set into the pavement. Just a moment. Let's see what this says. Gently thus forever glide, O thee that over bars may see the lovely visions by their side, as now fair river come to me, glide fair stream forever so, in quiet soul on all bestowing, till all our minds forever flow, and thy deep waters now are flowing. That's William Wordsworth. Okay. What we're now doing is making our way up in the general direction of Waterloo Bridge. How much time? 8 minutes already. Wow. Another poem. Must, though injustice, declare that the grass which is worn by our feet is diminished apace. In a little time more will be brown and as flat as the sands of Vauxhall or as Ranelagh Mat. Richard Brinsley Sheridan. Oh, good.
Most favourite, like, expensive restaurants? There's one called Gold.
Now down here, over on the right-hand side, we have these large concrete buildings which are not very attractive. In fact, they're ugly and repulsive. For the Purcell Room, where they produce modern music, modern chamber music. I don't mean popular music, I mean it's a really sort of high-class arty-farty stuff which really isn't listenable, to bad injury on the ears. There, you'll see one thing about this place is the skateboarding. Now the skateboarding has taken place. This is probably the best use for the building. is that it's an excellent, the architect didn't intend this, by the way, but it just worked out this way, as an excellent place for skateboarders to practice. And they've been doing this certainly since the late 70s, so we're getting on almost sort of 50 years. So we've got these kids coming down here, as they've been doing for that period of time, and it's interesting to think you now have people in 60 years old who were practicing here all those years ago. Quite extraordinary. But anyway, as I say, that's the best use for the building, I think. I can't imagine what sort of people would want to pay a stack of money to listen to modern music. But that's neither here nor there. My tastes are very different. What we're now doing is making our way up to Waterloo Bridge. What time have I got? It's 10 minutes in. So what I don't want to make long videos, because I don't think my public, i.e. you, actually want to watch long videos. So I may cut out and start again. But anyway, Mexican street kitchen. You've got all sorts of food in London, including Mexican food. And down here, just underneath the archway of the bridge, we have an impromptu book fair. Now this is Waterloo Bridge. Waterloo Bridge, the original bridge, was built in the 1820s, and that bridge was bombed out in the last war in 1942. So they had to knock it all down and start again. And when they rebuilt it, because most of the men were out at the front fighting, they could only really recruit female labour onto the bridge. So for that reason, it's sometimes referred to as the Ladies' Bridge. Anyway, we'll go forward, and you'll see these stalls which are laid out with books, second-hand books. Just to give you an idea of what is being sold here. All manner of subjects. All manner of books. Old penguins, sci-fi, children's books, ladybird books. And then you've got prints. And here, ladies and gentlemen, we have the National Theatre in this concrete building, of which Prince Charles made a number of, when he was Prince Charles, now our King, King Charles, made a number of disobliging remarks, likening it to a nuclear power plant. It's not a pretty building at all. It's a shame. We didn't have a national theatre in this country, really, until the 1950s. It's not some distance from here. You have a theatre, an old theatre, Victorian theatre, originally called the Old Vic, and the Royal National Theatre Company was founded there, I think it was in 1959, by this man, Lord Olivier, Sir Laurence Olivier, he later became. And this is a statue to Laurence Olivier, the actor. So there he is. So the National Theatre opened in 1976, and it was designed by Dennis Lasdon. The National Theatre Company was actually founded in 1963, and there are 3 auditoria here, the largest of which is called the Olivier. You also have the Littleton Theatre and the Dorfman Theatre. But anyway, this is it. Now, here we have it, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a very pleasant sight to look at. But it's not so bad when you get inside. What I'm going to do is try and get inside just to show you. Again, you don't have to buy tickets just to get into the theatre. They serve tea and coffee, and it's a useful place to know about if you just want to stop and relax. So let's just take you into, have a look at the inside. If we can get in, that is. I'm not so, oh, maybe we can't. Maybe it's closed on Sunday. I think it might well be. Yes, I think it is. What a shame. Anyway, there we have it. Well, that's too bad. That is just too bad. Take it from me, ladies and gentlemen, it's quite pleasant inside. It's not as bad as it looks on the outside. There, across the River Thames, you have Somerset House. Somerset House, built in 1776, or rebuilt I should say, on the site of Old Somerset House, which was the palace of the Dukes of Somerset. These were the Seymour family, very, very eminent family in the time of Henry VIII. In fact, Jane Seymour was the third wife of King Henry VIII. She was also became the mother of King Edward VI. So the Seymours were a very, very important people, and this was their original palace on the banks of the River Thames, as I've explained to you, where most important buildings were. And then it was became the Queen's House for a while, until the Queen's House then removed to what is now Buckingham Palace, and it was remodeled in 1776 as government offices. Once upon a time the taxman, the Inland Revenue, used to operate from there, as indeed once upon a time they used to have all the records of things like births, marriages and deaths. All that stuff has now moved out, so the building is now open to the public, but that's on the north bank of the River Thames, and I'll talk about that on another occasion. So what we're going to do now is just continue to go round here. What time is it now? It's 17. I may just take a quick look at the dome of St Paul's Cathedral, and then I'll shut down, but I'll start up again. As we make our way down here, there, you can see in the distance the dome of St Paul's Cathedral. And as I say, I think what I need to do at this stage is just close down, but don't worry about that, because I'll be starting up again. So thank you very much indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Just stand by. I'll say cheerio for now, but I will see you again very, very shortly.